Danielle, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on, as always. What is going on here with Meghan Markle? What is the Meghan Markle story? Because I smell a rat, but it's difficult for me to know where the rat actually is.
Yeah, Meghan and Harry did a long 1 hour to 2 hour long plus interview with Oprah that was seen by 17 million people. So a lot of people around the world have been watching it. And basically, Meghan makes all kinds of claims about mental health, about racism, about just not feeling included in the family, all these things. But I think it was just kind of interesting because so many people on the left just take her claims on face value and assume that there is all of this racism against them. Whereas the Queen, I think, released a statement saying that the whole family is saddened to learn the full context of how challenging the last few years have been for Harry and Meghan. The issues raised, particularly that of race, are concerning. While some recollections may vary, they are taken very seriously and will be addressed by the family privately. Harry, Meghan, and Archie will always be loved family members. And a lot of people on the left read that as, oh, you know, that's really going to do it. That's really going to fix the entrenched racism of the system. This is such a horrible answer. And so...
Well, it's a statement out of the 19th century. I mean, this is the aristocratic sensibility of sort of trying to handle something diplomatically. See, to me, the natural reaction of the Queen should be outrage. I mean, think about it. Think of the level of betrayal by her own son, this little, this man in a dress, if you want to call it, kowtowing to his wife who has her hand, strategically placed over his, almost as if to say, I'm riding the horse, not you. And the Queen observing this disgusting spectacle of these two people, betraying the royal household in this way, in this crass way. But I think they don't know how to do this. They don't know how to respond to sort of woke culture, if you will. Now, to me, more interesting than the Queen was Meghan Markle's half-sister and her statement. Did you read this statement? This is the statement. I think her name is Samantha Markle. And it's very eye-opening because she basically says that Meghan Markle suffers from narcissistic personality disorder. Is that kind of your reading of Meghan Markle?
Yeah, well, she says here in her statement, Samantha Markle says she idolized Diana. In fact, Meghan went to great lengths to study Diana, to mimic her clothing, to mimic her body language, and to wear Diana's perfume on their first date. Don't tell me my sister didn't know who Harry was, because one of Meghan's claims was that she never Googled the royal family. She never Googled Harry. She didn't know who they were. And so she just kind of found herself with royals. And so her sister was challenging that claim. And I don't know how anyone could not have Googled one of the most famous royal families.
Well, now, Meghan Markle, let's back up. Meghan Markle's story is that she was a kind of a two-bit aspiring actress. She had played some modest roles in a couple of movies. She was kind of a nobody, right? I'm guessing that when she married into the royal family, she thought, I'm now going to be it. I'm now going to be, the new Lady Diana, because that's who I've always aspired to be. And then perhaps she found out that that was not the case. What do you think caused Meghan Markle to sort of turn against the royal family and make a kind of different move to achieve the kind of fame that it seems she's always aspired to?
Yeah, well, there was so much fanfare surrounding Meghan Markle with her wedding with Harry and all of that. So I think she did see that she was the center of attention, but then realized that she will always be number two because William and Kate will always be number one. And she didn't marry William, she married Harry, and that's just the way the royal system of hierarchy works. So she would always be standing behind William and Kate and so on. And I think that didn't work for her. So she said, you know what, this isn't fun. Let's instead go get Netflix deals and Spotify deals and make a lot of money. And let's still use kind of the royal brand of the Duchess of Sussex brand and use that to kind of get money. But then the royal family said, okay, well, if you don't want your title, then you're not going to get this security. If you don't want to perform these acts of public service, then you can go on your own and make your own money. And I think that they have millions of dollars from Diana anyways. So they are still living in a mansion in California. But then they decide, you know what, let's complain about this. Let's go on international TV with Oprah, make a big scene about it, then we'll still remain relevant and act like we have no voice, even though we use these big platforms to complain about things.
I want to play a short clip of Meghan Markle comparing herself to Ariel, the Little Mermaid. Listen.
It must have been years ago. We were sitting in Nottingham. I was sitting in Nottingham Cottage, and The Little Mermaid came on. Now, who as an adult really watches The Little Mermaid? But it came on, and I was like, well, I'm just here all the time, so may as well watch this. And I went, oh my God. She falls in love with the prince, and because of that, she has to lose her voice. But by the end, she gets her voice back.
Gets her voice back. And this is what happened here. You feel like you got your voice back.
So it seems that the British people's take on this, which I think would be the global take, is that, listen, Meghan Markle, you signed up for a role in the royal family, and to then complain that somehow you don't have your own voice. Nothing's stopping you from having your own voice. You had your own voice before, you can have it now, but you can't have it as part of the royal household because the royal family has a certain set of ceremonial duties and you're part of that. Let's turn for a minute to Harry's role in all this, because I think you mentioned to me that you thought that Harry seemed extremely awkward or maybe uncomfortable during the interview. Talk about Harry a little bit, because I then want to also turn to the Samantha Markle's take on Harry, which I think is pretty crushing.
Yeah. I think it's a really sad situation. I mean, Harry grew up with his family there. That was the life that he knew. And now he somehow thinks that his father and his brother are prisoners there. He thinks that they're trapped, and kind of acted like they were lived in some cult that he somehow escaped from. And I think Oprah even asked him, do you think that Meghan Markle saved you? And he says, yeah, I think she did. And it's really kind of, I guess, allowed her to have this hold on him. And I do think it's sad when someone tears someone away from everything they knew. He had to give up his I think, titles and all of his military stuff. But just the loss of relationship there with their family is really sad, and especially how it's going on in this public way of trashing the family and saying these allegations of racism without actually saying who said it or being specific. So now the public just says, oh, well, everybody must be racist then. Well, everything is horrible. And it's like, you aren't even saying who it was.
I mean, speaking of stories inside the family, listen to this crushing statement by Samantha Markle. She goes, I feel sorry for Harry. She pulled him away from his family. That's what you said. All of his friends, the life that he knew. And then this. He reminds me of one of those kidnap victims who eventually starts to believe that their life was so horrible and they're in love with their captor. So he's basically saying that Harry is suffering from Stockholm syndrome. This horrific creature of Meghan has sort of imprisoned him mentally, and he is essentially turned into a human vegetable who is now mouthing her story, even though in a deep down he knows it to be false. I mean, what kind of a weak, sick, these are obviously two very disturbed individuals, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think he shares the blame too. I think he would dress up as a Nazi or something at parties and so on. So he shouldn't have this kind of immunity with the left that he has now just because he's with Meghan Markle and just because they're crying racism. But I think that he has been taken in by her, and they live their own life now elsewhere. So I hope that they kind of just drift into obscurity, because there's really no reason that people should be following them or what they're doing. But as long as they keep up this kind of tussle with the royals, as long as they keep themselves connected, even negatively, to the royals, I guess they'll always be in the press.
I mean, I don't feel sorry for the royals, because the royals are on the left. I mean, Prince Charles is always making some preposterous statement about climate change. So it's almost like the royals thought that if we are on the left, we'll be protected from this kind of woke attack. And sort of the genius marketing move, I think, of Meghan Markle was to figure out, no, I have to attack them, but I have to attack them from the left.